Welcome to week 10. You are learning a ton of great information, and we are making great progress in getting through all of it. And your skills with computers, your knowledge of computers is growing and growing and growing. And this week we're going to build on it even more by learning about databases, websites, more about e-commerce, and then some essential computer skills. We're going to go through all of this in just a second. But the main thing we're looking at this week is databases. The main thing we are looking at this week are databases, web programming, and e-commerce. Databases, web programming, and e-commerce, because those three really kind of go together. You don't have the web today as we know it, without databases, and an integral part of the web today is e-commerce. So to start you out, if you want to learn about how to build websites, and if you want to start programming on the web, and if you wanted to create your own e-commerce websites, we already looked at Shopify, where you can do that really easily. If you wanted to just build a website to sell something, you could go to Shopify. And but if you wanted to build websites from the ground up, the first place that I'd recommend that you start is by going to YouTube and taking a look at what the web is today. Because this guy right here, his name is Kazumasa Teshigawara, Japanese. He lives in Tokyo. He's awesome. He's amazing. But go to YouTube and check out this video, Bend the Web to Your Imagination. Because web programming today is not like web programming yesterday. It's web programming today. And the web is really, with HTML5 and CSS3, it's really being reimagined, and you could do a lot more with it. And this guy is on the cutting edge, doing some really cool things that are art. They're art. He's an artist who his medium is the web. So go check out this video, YouTube, Bend the Web to Your Imagination. That's step one. Step two, if you want to learn about web programming, I'm going to show you the books. Not only the subjects that you need to study, but the books you need to use to study it, because these books are the absolute best books in the world for learning web programming. And I've looked at a lot of web programming books, and these are just really straightforward and make it really super easy to learn. So the first thing you want to do is you go to Murrock Books website, and or you could go on to Amazon or any bookseller. And you want to get, the first book you're going to read is HTML5 and CSS3. You want to read this book. This is the first book you want to read, HTML5 and CSS3. The second book you want to read is PHP and MySQL. This will allow you to build static websites. This will allow you to build dynamic websites created to a database. The database would be MySQL, and PHP is the programming language that you use to provide programming logic to your website. The next book you want to read after that is JavaScript and DOM scripting, document object model scripting. And the book after that, you want to read Murrock's MySQL, so that you just increase your knowledge of working with databases. And then the final book you want to read after that is Murrock's JavaScript and jQuery, which is going to allow you to do some really cool client-side scripting. So those are the books. One, two, three, four, five. 5 books, probably 3,000 pages of reading. And if you do all that, you could get through those books in a year with just 10 pages a day. That's it, 10 pages a day. In 1 year, you could be a really awesome web programmer. If you work through these books, 10 pages a day, that's it, 10 pages a day, right? So it's going to be like 2 hours of your time every day. In 1 year, you will be able to program websites as well, if not better than most. As well, if not better than most. Seriously, no joke. And then the last thing you'll want to do is, once you've read all those books, you want to come to Adobe, and you want to sign up for the Creative Cloud. I was going to say the Creative Crowd. The Creative Cloud. And the Creative Cloud at Adobe Creative Cloud, will allow you to use all these tools plus more. But the main tools you'll want to use when you start out will be Dreamweaver. That's going to be your main tool. And Dreamweaver will help you build websites. So once you've read all these books, Dreamweaver will just be like slam dunk intuitive. So don't even worry about it until you've read all those books. You also use Photoshop some, and there's some new stuff here I know absolutely nothing about. All right, so that's what you need to do if you want to be an awesome web programmer and start building websites and learn about databases and build e-commerce sites. This week we are going to look at all of that, these three subjects, in more depth. We're going to review databases, so we're going to take a look at everything we already took a look at, just kind of talk about it in one video. This right here is all going to be one video. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk a little bit about websites. We're going to talk a little bit about websites and you know, just some of the terminology and some of the basics of websites and how do you go about actually doing that, building a website. We'll have some essential computer skills where we're going to look at creating a website on Google Sites, something called Google Sites, and I will make that color green. And then we'll also look at URL hacking. I already kind of covered this, but I'll talk about it once more. Finally, not finally, but next after that, we're going to look at e-commerce once more. And we'll look at some of the business models for e-commerce. We'll explore e-commerce in a little bit more depth. And we'll look at processing financial transactions, maybe. Like PayPal, you know, we've already looked at that. We'll talk about merchant accounts and credit card processing, and Square, my new favorite website and service. We'll look at marketing and how do you market websites, and this is really like changing. And we'll look at how, you know, encrypting sensitive data is important when you are building a website or for people who do have websites, and how that's not always done. We'll talk about the .com boom, which not a lot of people know about. We will have a few more essential computer skills like using Google AdWords, saving money when purchasing textbooks. We kind of hit that already, but I'll review it. Making money selling books on Amazon, we've hit that. And coupon codes and discounts. Yeah, that one I don't know if we've hit, but that's good stuff to know about. So that's a little bit dark there, isn't it? Isn't it? That's a little bit dark, isn't it? There we go. So these we might not talk about. We've already talked about them. And then we're going to see some really cool. We're going to see some really cool videos at the end of the week, just to round out our week of e-commerce, websites, and databases. We're going to look at Jack Dorsey, who's the most infamous unknown man on the internet. He created Square, and you know, we'll take a look at that. Well, electronic payments, Jack Dorsey. We'll talk about, we'll see this video, Peter Diamandis, Abundance is Our Future. I've already mentioned it. It's an amazing video. Pretty sure I already mentioned it. We'll talk about the genomic revolution, or you will see a video on that, and you'll also see designing life. Crazily enough, a computer has created life. So there's this guy, Craig Vintner, who sucked the DNA out of a cell, and then he created his own DNA using a computer and, you know, for substances or whatever, right? He created his own DNA. He injected that DNA back into a cell, and then the cell started to boot up, meaning it multiplied. It did the mitosis or splitting or whatever they call that in biology. I haven't used that word probably since high school biology, but it's pretty amazing that computers have actually created life, and you're gonna read about that or watch a video about that. All right, so that's what's in store for this week. It's some pretty cool stuff. And if you want to learn about web programming, start with those books. That's the best way to learn about it. Don't go watching videos about web programming, you know, at like lynda.com or anything like that. The best thing to do is to read the books, because when you read the books, it's like all laid out right there. And with code, that's just easier to kind of read, see the code, see what it does. And with a video, it just goes too quick. That's my experience. All right, welcome to Databases, Web Programming, and E-Commerce.